On behalf of Ben Good, Prez, Uncle Keith, this is the Faithful Boys podcast. Of course, coming off that dub, that huge dub against the Eagles. So we're going to get that in tonight. But of course, we want y'all to like, subscribe, share the podcast, share the channel. Thankful for everybody that's been rocking with us for a minute now. I see my boy Prez just hopped in.
What's going
So
on,
we're
man?
gonna get it in. Oh, it's all good. We got that dub. That's what it is.
Yeah, big dub, man.
So no, it's good. Like I said, Uncle Key should be coming in. Ben working tonight, so I'm gonna get this thing and host this show for the crew. Big shouts out to Benjamin S.
Big facts.
So let's go ahead and get this started, man. Let's go ahead and start by getting our first impressions of what we thought the win meant and what it means going forward. So what you think the significance of this win is for the squad going forward?
Oh, I mean, I think it's bigger. It's big for them. I think it was more bigger for us fans that watch the TV shows, all the outlets. You know what I'm saying? And you got to hear this over and over and know. So I mean, it definitely gives the fan base bragging rights. But it's at this point, it's in the past. You know what I'm saying? We know what we can do. I think obviously we felt that way before they even stepped on that field. Felt this way last year, you know what I'm saying? So to be able to prove it and go out there and put it on film, it's a good feeling, man. I'm sure. But bigger for the fans than them, you know what I'm saying? It's back to the grind. You know what I'm saying? Huge game versus Seattle puts us one step closer. You know what I'm saying? To being in that one seed, if we can win this weekend and Dallas can beat them, and then so it'd be huge in that facet. So we just moving forward.
Yeah, well, I always like to talk about narratives. Yeah. And that's all I really heard the week leading up to the game. The Eagles going to pull it out at the end. Purdy ain't got the clutch gene, and reliving the last year and all the trash talk that Debo was talking.
Yeah.
What the boy from the Eagles, the boy that knocked Purdy out, he was running his mouth.
Yeah.
He was running his mouth.
It's crazy.
Everything. Yeah, he was running his mouth and stuff. But no, I agree with you. It was more so for the fans than I think even the team. Even though the team was hungry to get the dub and that if we had our full squad out there, we could beat them. I think for the fans, because we watched like, dang, if we would have had our quarterback, we probably would have beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just from the standpoint, we was playing with one hand tied behind our back. We was in y'all beating them. You know what I'm saying? And when we lost him, it was like the air went out of the bag.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But they still fought valiantly out there. They just knew, and the Eagles knew that we wasn't going to be able to do nothing because we couldn't have the ability to throw the ball.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think, too, and we could talk about specific plays, if you want. I think the play that really showed me that it was different was when Brock scrambled to the left and shook your boy off, and then ran and got hit and knocked out of bounds and jumped right back up. Yeah. And in my mind, when I watched that play, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's different today.
Yeah.
It's going to be different today. Oh, Brock ready. Yeah, this ain't last year, cuz we here. We here. Yeah, we here. Yeah, then that's a play that really let me know, like, okay, Brock, you here. We here. It's just a matter of time before we get this momentum. And once they got that momentum, they ain't never look back.
Exactly.
So I would agree with you there with that. So any particular, players or plays in the game that you thought, was a turning point in the game or, had an impact in the game, because, they jumped on us quick. Even though they didn't score the 2 touchdowns, they did jump.
I think ultimately that's where we won the game. I think our defense won the game for us in the first quarter, holding them on not having the ball, it not going our way, holding them to 6 points. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think that's what ultimately won us the game. Being in that, because if they score a couple of touchdowns, you never know what happens. You know what I'm saying? If we down 14 or we down 10, it's a different type of pressure, a different type of angst. Then the crowd's more hyped, and so we were able to take the crowd out of it. You know what I'm saying? Basically by halftime, And then that whole second half, that hostile environment we didn't really have to deal with. So big time for that defense in that first quarter, holding it down for us and until we got it rolling.
Yeah. Well, no, I would agree with you. Them not giving up the 2 touchdowns and, holding them to the 6. But then I think really the first play of the game, when they threw the ball to Swift and he got smashed, I knew it was going to be different, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the first when he threw it to him, because Hurst was looking downfield, that was covered. And then he tried to throw short, and he got sandwiched between Dre and
exactly.
When you heard that pop, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be different today. Y'all in for a long one. You know what I'm saying? But no, I would agree with you there. That first play and then them holding them, and then I think the key to the game was the coverage. The coverage was excellent. You got to give AJ Brown his props. He gonna make plays. He a beast out there. You ain't gonna hold him down.
Always. I mean, we did incredible.
It's hard to hold good, excellent players down. But man, you got to give Amber Thomas and Diamador and Mooney. They do, bro. Them boys are on point.
Facts. The secondary is really coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so good, man. Because I was a big Ambry Thomas fan. You know what I'm saying? Because his first year, he went through it. He had the starting position, then he lost it, and then injuries happened, and then right around the end of the season, towards the playoffs, he was thrown in there and just lit it up, and then he had that back. I guess he had to fall off. So last year, so get him back here now, man, and him playing lights out. You know what I'm saying? Against the receivers, you know what I'm saying? Some of the best receivers in the league. Like, it ain't like he been playing dudes that can't play neither. So it's huge. I mean, he's right now, you know what I'm saying? He's got to be the least, like the most important non-talked about player, because we know what it was with this defense when we had to have Oliver out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as Ambry was able to take over and then Lenoir moved to the slot, which his versatility, man, Lenoir's versatility has done so much for this defense and this secondary. Them two in particular, you know what I'm saying, are very unsung heroes at this point.
I would agree with that. Yeah. And I think, like I said, Ambry coming in and making the plays to help us get to the playoffs, and then being consistent in the playoffs and falling off. Then, having to be, behind people on the depth chart. A lot of people didn't think he was going to make the club.
Yeah.
He make the 53, you know what I'm saying? But he battled back and fought back. And then like even Shanahan said, when he got his eye, he took advantage of it and playing excellent football. And, that's what they invested the 3rd round pick in him for, because they could see the potential that he had, So that just, is a reminder that, you don't give up. You got to keep battling. And when your opportunity come, even if you fall off a little bit, you could get it back. Now, I would say if there was one negative, I didn't like the way we started out offensively.
Yeah,
about throwing the ball, you know what I'm saying? I think they should have tried to establish a run. But like I said in the podcast before we played the game, I said I want to see how Shanahan gonna come out, because it's gonna tell me a lot about what he think about Purdy and what he gonna try to attack. So I like the fact that he said, okay, I'm gonna put this game in Purdy's hand. I'm not gonna go the conservative route or the conventional route, which is just run McCaffrey the first to start it off. I'm gonna come out and attack the weakness of their defense. Now you get Philly, they jumped on, they made some plays. In that first quarter, they really outplayed us in the first quarter. We might have been a little coming off the 10 days, might have been a little rusty, had to kind of get back into it. But once we woke up, as they were saying on a broadcast, it was after that, you know what I'm saying? From the second quarter on, we had the game. But anything particularly on offense versus their defense that you thought Kyle did to exploit the weaknesses, the mismatches, in the game?
Oh, I mean, I wasn't on last week, but I never thought this defense had a chance versus our offense. I mean, I'm not surprised at the outpour, and in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? I mean, their defense, their secondary is not good. I mean, they give up, I think, the 12th most points in the league. One of the worst 3rd down converting defenses in the league, which is what we excel at with Purdy. So it was just like, I mean, it was literally, how good is our defense going to be? You know what I'm saying? Can our defense keep them off the field? You know what I'm saying? we gonna play bad? Or, you know what I'm saying? Are we gonna make mistakes? Are we gonna make turnovers? Are we gonna have a lot of penalties? And because outside of that, if this team's healthy from a week to week standpoint, if we're not beating ourselves, I mean, there's not a lot anybody can really do with this team. When it comes down to it, I mean, from top to bottom, it's weird, but it's almost to a point. You know what I'm saying? It's like if we're healthy and you don't get a ring with this roster, there's a problem.
Oh, I would agree with that. And then, I know one of the keys, and I have forgot you weren't on last week. One of the keys we talked about was, the line of scrimmage, offensive line versus their defensive line, giving Brock the time. We felt that if Brock had the time, he could exploit their linebackers and their secondary, and he did. You know what I'm saying? And when they gave him the time, initially, they got that first little pressure in the first half. They was on him a little bit, but once they,
but it was like you were saying, that was Shanahan's play calling that put Brock in those situations.
Right.
Yeah, I did not like his first quarter play calling. But after hearing you saying it, it's like, you know what I'm saying, giving them a chance, you know what I'm saying, putting it in there and going the non-traditional route. It makes sense, you know what I'm saying, as a vote of confidence in Purdy to see what it goes. And so it makes more sense after kind of listening to how you stated it. But yeah, we ain't trying to do that again.
No. And like I said, I wanted to see how he was going to come out and attack. I knew Kyle was going to attack the weaknesses because we had talked about in a podcast, using McCaffrey in a slot, getting him on linebackers, even maybe using Mason and the other running back more, to let McCaffrey work against the linebackers and their secondary because we knew that was a weakness. And we saw in the game where McCaffrey had that over-the-shoulder catch, had Merck the linebacker. So we did see it in the game.
Yeah,
things like that. But yeah, I wanted to see how he was going to come out in the first series because that was going to determine to me how he was going to attack. And once they settle down and start mixing and running the pass in and start exploiting their weaknesses, then it was on and cracking after that.
Yeah.
So no, just the fact that, like I said, they came out and they put up 42 points on them and stuff. And then, all during the week, the media was, saying this and that and all of this about Purdy and, Jalen got the clutch gene. He put if the game close, he gonna pull it out. But then I had a thought: what if the games are never close when we play?
It's so wild, man. I've watched football my entire life, and I've never seen somebody like they act like when Mahomes came in the league, he didn't have prime Travis Kelce and prime Tyreek Hill. Like, they just act like that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? With Andy Reid. You know what I'm saying? Talking about, oh, he got all the weapons in the world. Well, I mean, except for Brady, ain't most of the best quarterbacks ever had all the weapons in the world, like, at their disposal? You know what I'm saying? So it's wild to see the links that people will go to try to discredit what he is. For I think a lot of different reasons, but it's the East Coast media bias, and they're gonna do what they do against the 49ers. So it's just wild to me that people like really have these conversations. When if you watch the game, it's just like, bro, what else could you want from your quarterback, especially a second year quarterback? Take away the 7th round. It doesn't matter if he was a first pick of the draft, or a 7th rounder, last pick of the draft. If you got a second year quarterback coming off an injury, playing the way that he's playing, bro, there's no complaints ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I watched a lot of the little national media outlet shows during the week leading up to the game, and I'm just shaking I'm saying to myself, yeah, there's more fuel for Purdy fire, baby.
100%.
Keep spinning that narrative that he came and he got the weapons and it ain't him, and he gonna go out and kill it. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about the narrative on Purdy, because now everybody's saying he's a possible MVP. Mr. Irrelevant could be the MVP of the NFL. So what are your thoughts on that? Or what should we think about that as 49er fans versus the bias of, like you said, the East Coast media and the bias of people who say he's a product of Shanahan and the weapons and all of these things?
I mean, I will say that the 3 games we lost, he did not play particularly well. without having Trent there, so the run game wasn't what it was without Debo there. He didn't play horrible. A couple of the games, I think the latter two, he played good enough, obviously, to get the win in Cleveland. Or he did enough, I should say, to get the win in Cleveland, to put him in that situation. But then outside of that, I don't know if he's MVP, man. I think Christian McCaffrey obviously is the biggest factor on this offense. I mean, everything really goes through him. So if I don't look at him like him being the MVP in that sense. It's good that he's up there and getting the notoriety for it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't think that he'll win it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's typically. I mean, I think it'll most likely, if Lamar keeps doing what he does, it'll go to somebody like him. But I don't really look at too much into the MVP side of it. I mean, he struggled pretty bad not having the people, so it just kind of depends on people's personal opinion on it.
Well, it would be nice. It would really throw people for a loop if he was just, like I said, being Mr. Irrelevant and and the narrative that's been out there about him. Honestly, I think if anybody should be the MVP, it should be McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the numbers and the impact, and like I said, he's a running back doing this.
Yeah.
And leading the league in the touchdowns and
no, I definitely him, and that's when you get into even the Tyreek Hill conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If in my opinion, I would say if it ain't Tyreek Hill, if Tyreek Hill get the 2,000 yards like he on pace to get, then I think it should be McCaffrey. I don't think this year Mahomes and some of these quarterbacks have particularly to the level to where they just dominated the league and you just knew clear cut they were better than everybody else in the league. 100%. I think this should be the year that a non-quarterback should win MVP. But like I said, if Purdy goes out and balls out the rest of the way and then that head-to-head matchup beats Lamar and outplays Lamar, then it's going to be a serious.
Now, because you do get into that situation, if it goes where he's beat Lamar, he's beat Jalen, he's beat Dak head-to-head, you know what I'm saying? Like, because, the numbers are going to be similar. He could get it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just there's so many narratives behind the MVP, and I will say, kind of like you, I think regardless of how good Purdy's playing, Christian McCaffrey is definitely the MVP of this offense. And if you're the MVP of this offense, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't the MVP of your own offense, I don't see how you can be MVP of the league in that sense.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. So let's talk about Steve Wilks. What's the narrative on him? Has it changed from the struggles, being in the booth and all of what that was, and now he's on the field? Now we have to put Chase Young into the equation because we know that he gave him an energy boost and another great play out there. But what's the narrative on Steve Wilks now in terms of how the defense have come together from the bye, him going from upstairs to downstairs and being on the sidelines?
I think he's the, you know what I'm saying? It's because, I was kind of getting Chase Young and what it's done, you know what I'm saying? It kind of, I don't know how much credit we can give him for that. You know what I'm saying? Like Chase Young would change any defense. You know what I'm saying? But Chase Young on the other side of Bosa is a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? And they got Randy Gregory. But honestly, I think one of the biggest things is getting Jair in off of Huff. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a fan of Huff's ability to cover. And I think he's a liability with Greenlaw in the middle of that field, and Jair's not been that in any way, shape, or form, which is why we drafted him. That's why we spent the first round on him. It was for that. So I think Chase Young and Jair getting back there definitely has helped out and with the defense. And so I don't know if it's so much Wilks, you know what I'm saying? I actually thought he had us playing pretty bad there for a while until Chase Young, and moving up from the top of the field down to the sidelines, that ain't the reason that it's changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Type of thing. So I'm kind of, it's good. We're getting everything out of him. It's making it. He's working it. He's getting there. I definitely think he is multiple steps down from like Salah and DeMeco Ryans, but most people are. You know what I'm saying? That's how most things are going to be. So
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I think I would agree with you with Chase Young, and I like Jair Brown. Since he had to step in for her being hurt. You could see him and feel him out there last week, definitely. And then I think eventually, when Gip, call it quits, it'll be Huff and him back there. I think they'll play Huff more to the line of scrimmage, and they'll let him be the deeper safety,
yeah,
type.
no, for sure, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. So no, but I think Wilkes being on there, I think the communication is probably better because
Yeah,
that I think that was an issue when he was up in the booth, maybe relaying the calls and just having that one-on-one personal communication with them on the
yeah,
sidelines in a
that's very
moment.
true.
So
Very
I
true.
think that's the biggest change that, in addition to the players coming in, with that and stuff. So when we look at they're 9-3, they're a game behind Philly. A lot of people this week been talking about, Philly falling off, Dallas, catching them, and we kind of rooting for the Cowboys, which in a normal world we would never do. You
Facts.
know, what do you think the keys to that game will be in terms of Dallas winning that game to allow us to be tied with them, but really being in first place for the number one seed because we didn't beat both of them head to head?
I think it's going to be the winner of that game will be whoever's defense plays better because I think it's actually two overrated defenses.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to it, and so I think that's going to be whoever plays better defense. Obviously, we need the Cowboys to win. I mean they split typically all the time, year after year. Into it, I think that the Cowboys are going to win this game. Just period. Just because I mean they almost beat them in Philadelphia. I mean they really almost beat them in Philadelphia. There was a lot of things that went Philadelphia's ways or stepped out of bounds, little small stuff. Even him going down like at the half-yard line, just crazy ass shit. And that was on the road, you know what I'm saying? And that was on the road before they started having trouble, per se, Philadelphia, with all the other teams after that game. So I think ultimately Dallas definitely wins that game. But we got a game, you know what I'm saying? Seahawks, they're saying that Walker and Charbonnet haven't been practicing, so that'll be good for sure if they're not playing. But I don't expect it to be like the game in Seattle, especially if Walker's back. We know that Geno's feeling better than what he had been when we played and stuff. So we got a huge game, man. This team, because they'll pull out all the stops. This will be one of those games, you know what I'm saying? There might be a couple of trick plays where Pete Carroll does what he does, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a big game for them, but it's also for their playoff indications and for us, you know what I'm saying? So it's a big fucking game on Sunday for us.
Well, no, I'm gonna chime in quickly on Philly and Dallas. I think Dallas defense will make more plays in the long run. I think against Philly as opposed to Philly's defense against Dallas. I think Dallas have the offense to maybe overpower. Because they gonna if they watch the film and saw what we did, they should be able to make some plays. But but no, when you talking about Seattle, it's a divisional game. We need the game too because we got to keep our momentum going. To take it to 5 straight wins. We know Seattle gonna play hard. They ain't gonna be embarrassed again. So I would agree. I think we still win. I'm not saying it's not gonna be easy, but I think they'll win a game. But it'll be a closer game just in terms of them playing for 4 quarters. But if we play the way we capable of, I think they'll pull away. And win the game, and then that'll bring them to 10-3, and then if Dallas do what they do, and then it'll be really 3 teams at 10-3, but we'll be the number 1 overall seed just because we didn't beat them head to head.
Exactly.
With that. So I don't know who we play after Seattle.
I think it's the Cardinals and then the Ravens. Cardinals and then the Ravens.
Okay, well, a lot of people are gonna be pointing to that Ravens game if we, start talking about the significance of what the end of the regular season would be. That could be a Super Bowl preview. You
Yeah,
know,
it could be. It could be for sure.
and that's on Christmas night, Monday night, and out there by us. So that'll be a prime time game that most people will be able to see. We'll be looking forward to. So I know they were talking.
It's the Monday night game.
Yeah, that's the Monday night game.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's the Monday night game. Yeah, that's the Monday night game for sure. But
Oh,
yeah, let's I know I had seen they were talking about trying to sign the tight end from the
Zach
Cardinals.
Ertz. Yeah, yeah. I think that definitely needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I think we need to figure out what it takes to get that in there. I think pulling in Ryan Logan was nice.
Yeah,
For uh, yeah, no, I mean you're bringing in players with Super Bowl experience that are champions. You know what I'm saying? Been on veterans that have been on teams that know what it's like, and that you can never have enough of those guys. And so no, I definitely think like that would be a great get, and I think it would have dividends on the field in the two tight end sets. It would just give us another weapon and another dynamic to make it easier for Brock, and I'm all for making it for him as easy for him as possible, man.
yeah. I know that's something that they drafted the tight ends in a draft, but the boy from Alabama they put him on IR, but we know he struggled in the preseason and in training camp. And then a dude from tight end who we think got potential, he either been a non-star, well, he ain't even suited up for games, you know, haven't been out there like we thought, Willis. So yeah, I think if they can get
Yeah,
her, because that'll take some of the pressure off of Kittle too, having to play
facts,
every snap, and be out
facts.
there every play. So yeah, I hope they can pull that out. And then yeah, I saw the Logan Ryan move, and I think that's a good move because yeah, he have won championships and have been in the deep of the playoffs and have been in the wars. So that
Mm-hmm.
can only help. And then with all the injuries they had in the secondary, especially at the safety, they needed to bring somebody in who could be that.
Facts. Yeah, no,
And
great signing for sure.
so yeah, lynching them on it, in terms of what they got to do with that. So yeah, I think from where we starting off 5-0, and you know, changing the narrative because the last couple of years they had started all slow and then tried to got hot. It started all strong, then they had that 3-game losing streak, and a lot of it was because we didn't have some of our players out there. But in a lot of ways that probably was the best thing happened to them because they had to go back to the fundamentals and
Oh
focus
yeah,
in on the one game approach deal, and they might have been reading the press clippings a little bit, getting a little full of themselves. So they, the bye week came at the perfect time, and since they came out their bye week, they've been killing people out there.
yeah,
So yeah, I think the main thing now is just being injury free. I know Armstead might not play this week; he a little dinged up. They got a
yeah.
little minor injuries, but nothing major. So that's where they need to use the depth.
Yeah,
And
no, I think they did say he was out, so it'll be Kinlaw and Kia Davis get some more reps. So which they Kinlaw been playing good, and Davis had a sack last week. So yeah,
uh,
no, this is it's a good time, and you know what I'm saying. It's get him some rest. You know what I'm saying. That way he ready for the playoffs.
yeah.
So ain't nothing wrong with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I think I like Ken Law, how he been playing, and then Khalil Davis. I know he had been hurt all of last year, but finally healthy. He looked like he could be a nice little player down the line for him.
He does, man. He does
He
look
do
like
look like he got some potential there. They was real high on him. So
yeah,
yeah, that's a good thing too. Can never have enough defensive linemen out there
facts.
making plays. So any unsung heroes from the game? Anybody that you thought maybe might have struggled that surprised you, or somebody that you didn't think would maybe make a play did?
I mean, I will say, hell of a game by Debo.
Yeah,
Hell of a day. I mean, that was, you know what I'm saying. That's the Debo. You know what
uh,
I'm saying. That's the version that we need that helps it, and takes this offense to another level. Because if he's playing like that at the same time, you got Christian McCaffrey playing the way he is. I mean, it's just, yeah, no, I mean, it's what we needed. It's just a whole nother level, and so great
mm,
play calling by Shanahan, using them, getting them mixed in at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was. I mean, Debo had a hell of a breakout game, and hopefully it triggers him moving forward.
Right. Yeah, I would say I was kind of shaky with the offensive line. You know, just given the fact of what happened last year, and then like I said in the first half, well, the first two series they kind of looked shaky, but once they settled down, I think they controlled the line of scrimmage. They blocked for Purdy, gave him time. So I would say I got to give shouts out to the offensive line. I think this was the best game that they played all year as a group.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope that it continues and they keep getting better. So as the playoffs come in, they're playing at the top of their game, and then we can really be an offense that's unstoppable. Because if Brock got time, he gonna find an open player, and if y'all give McCaffrey the holes, he gonna make the runs. So I think the offensive line, and then I would say the secondary, because you know, like I say, Devontae Smith and
AJ Brown.
Brown ain't no joke. They excellent receivers, and
DeAndre Swift out there.
Yeah, you know, so I gotta give props to the secondary. You know, Ambry Thomas, Diamador. You know, I like the fact that Mooney Ward, you didn't step up. You playing like a true number one.
He is playing like a true number one. He is playing like a true number one.
You know, you didn't accept the challenge of that. You know, and that's what we need. We need you to keep accepting that challenge. And, you know, everybody else keep making the plays. And I got to give Brooks props, because when, you know, Greenlaw went out, everybody thought they was going to fall off. But Brooks was out there making plays too.
Yeah, yeah, facts.
Hey, I got to give Oren Burks his props, because, you know, like I said, Dre a beast, you know, and, you know, when he went out, you know, then everybody was like, oh.
That's a critical point in the game, too. That game was close. It was close at that point. Yeah, no. That's a good call out. That's a real good call out. That's
so I got to give Oren his props, because, you know, but let's talk about that, man, because, you know, we know Drake, and you know, Kyle kind of addressed it yesterday in the presser. You know, he was saying, you know, he ain't a dirty player. He just played physical. And, you know, he'll body slam it with no problem. We didn't see it enough.
No. He is, you know, I saw people. No, my bad. I saw people starting to compare him to Draymond. In a way, and it makes sense, because he is. I mean, he always has penalties and shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's like when he's out there, he's ferocious, like vicious. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's just what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm starting to, and it's like he's that enforcer, and it's like he's allowed to be him in a way that Draymond's allowed to be him. So I think that they have accepted, or they take the good with the bad that comes with with his aggressiveness, and allow him to be him, which is dope, because then you have that loose caged animal, you know what I'm saying, out there. So it works, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it was a critical point in the game, and, you know, like I said, you know, he slammed them down. Then, you know, the security dude get in his face, and you could see where he pushed him. And then, come on, man, you about to push a 220-pound, 230-pound linebacker who could just body slam your big self.
Exactly.
You know, and saying, and you know, because really, at that point in the game, we had squeezed all the momentum out of them. You know, and then in that moment, they got juiced because of what happened.
Facts.
But then I love the fact how we responded, and that's why I was texting in the chat. I was like, keep attacking, Kyle. Don't let your foot off the gas. Yeah. Keep your foot on their throat. And that's what I loved about it. Is like Kyle was like, okay, these boys, okay, y'all jumped on us. We didn't got this momentum. I ain't giving it back to you. Okay, right. And even if this happened, we're going to come right back, and we're going to take this momentum. We're going to take it right back. And that's why I was glad that, you know, they kind of just kept going, kept attacking. And really, that's a mentality I hope he coached with the rest of the way.
Yeah.
You know, you got this team down, man. Go for the jugular vein, go for the neck. And don't even give them no inkling that they could breathe or, you know, come back in the game. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they do that, and they play like that. You know, and I think now with Brock, I think, you can see the full trust that he have to give the ball to Brock and be like, okay, he ain't gonna make the dumb-headed play. You know, we know on some level the narrative with Jimmy, he was gonna never put the ball in Jimmy's hands because Jimmy was gonna do something to either mess it up or play, and all of this kind of stuff, and then even kind of like as fans, we was always waiting for the other shoe to drop in terms of what Jimmy would do, what I'm saying, type of thing. But you could see with Brock, he had this total trust in Brock. And I think in a lot of ways, because people say, yeah, well, he runs Shanahan's system to a T and perfectly and all of this stuff, and I was thinking about this, you got to realize, Jimmy came from that New England system and a certain way of playing, what I'm saying? Now you come into a whole new system that's a different system and a different coach with a different way of how he wants you to play, but then this was some things that Jimmy just did that, just was just boneheaded either way, type of thing. But no, Purdy, not just in terms of running the system perfectly, he is the perfect player for the system just in terms of his individual talent. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that's what gets lost. Everybody focuses on the system, but Purdy have talent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too many plays and stuff. Uncle Keith, come on, chime in.
Not only does he have a special talent, Purdy has the ability to pivot in the system, and that's what makes the system work.
Exactly.
His improvisational skills are unparalleled in the league right now. You can have better arm strength, you can have better vision, but he's got some of the best decision making out there.
I would agree with that. Yeah. So come on, since you coming in, Uncle Keith, give us your take on what the game was, what your observations was, any good, negative, unsung heroes, people that maybe you thought, wasn't gonna make a play that made a play, something that you didn't think we did, that type of thing.
The thing in the first quarter was our defensive line was not getting to affect their quarterback. Second quarter started to. Second thing I want to say is that secondary is getting noticeably better every single game.
Yeah.
And these boys are hitting out there. They sending messages. There's some pride on the pound. You hear what I'm saying? They are pounding people. I mean, when you walk in the stadium in all black, say I'm going to a funeral, and you come in there and pluck the feathers off the bird, stuff it, bake it, and then have the bird watch you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably 3/4 of the best football I've seen 49ers play in a long time. 3 straight quarters. The first quarter was about getting your feet, getting acclimated or whatever it was. But once they clicked, I'm going to tell you what happened. Purdy made a pass to Ayuk that was phenomenal. And Ayuk made a phenomenal catch. They got them boys fired up. Fired up. It only takes one person.
Was it the one in the middle, all 4 of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a snatch and grab.
Boy.
Like he was robbing an Armani store. He wanted to get it and go. Now I'm gonna say something that's not gonna be popular. Yeah, it will be. Debo did his thing. He had something to prove. And I wish he came into every game with that same energy. Prez, you're 100% right about that. If you can do it once, you can do it all the time. Sometimes I think he takes too many plays off.
Well, we talked about it earlier. That's what I said. It's like that's
what we paid for.
Exactly. I didn't say it like that, but yeah, no, that's the player that you paid for. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And so,
and if you're gonna talk trash, don't play like trash. There's a bag for you too.
There's been a couple of times, you know what I'm saying, where he's been the one running his mouth up to the game, and he ain't show up to that game. But he showed up. He showed up to this one. And so
it feels like he needed them to talk trash back to motivate him. And they did come back at him. But man, he made some plays. That Yak. Now here's the crazy part. They talk about the system. And the top 5 rated quarterbacks, the person who's benefiting the least from Yak is Purdy. He's putting the ball on point in position. His Yak is not higher than 3 other quarterbacks. but his pass precision is so tight that they're what's it yards per attempt is number one,
Yep.
which means you're throwing it further downfield, which means you're not a dink and dunk passer, you're a precise passer.
Bruh. He making all the throws. He making
Said
all
what I
the
said.
throws. He making all the throws. Hey, and P had asked a question, playing the game, which is pretty much already over. It's like the play at the top, but that Juwan touchdown where he slang old boy by the off of him.
Oh yeah.
That was I mean that's such a Juwan play. That's just
I dog Jawan, third and Jawan as they call him.
yeah.
Let me say this to you. When you got players making big plays, everybody wants to participate. Everybody showed out.
Facts.
Mac did his thing on some runs off tackle. All right. Um, Jennings did his thing. Ayuk did his thing. Debo did his thing. Kittle did his thing, taking a tough hit over the middle and making a very important first down. All hands, high pointed them. They all did their things. And when you get a group with all hands on board and you feel like you got robbed, they looked like they was pissed.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm not at home, fellas. I had to stop at the closest place because I didn't want to miss this.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
You
good.
know,
So
outstanding.
give me your thoughts on, because everybody was talking about before the game, Purdy, if the game was close, he wasn't going to be able to have a clutch gene like Hurts and all of this. That narrative. Now everybody talking about he could be the MVP of the league. What's your thoughts on that?
He already was. I said what I said.
Okay. There you go.
Let me be honest. I said that. That's how I felt about it.
For the about 15th time that Brock is the MVP of the NFL.
Let me tell you what's happening. There's a learning curve when it comes to opinions. And the learning curve is popular to informed. It was a popular opinion to pick a popular player in a popular position in the draft to be MVP worthy. It is not popular and highly risky to see talent for what it is. Not this season, but last year when we had the podcast and all together and we started talking about Purdy, it was based upon talent, what we saw. And we had the same conversation about Mason. Purdy has realized his with opportunity. Mason hasn't had the opportunity. And when he does, he's going to be hard to keep unless we pay him.
All right.
And I'm telling you, you got two different kind of characters there. Just like that kid that plays Alabama, Caleb. They different. Certain people are built different. This kid Purdy's got different all over. You know what? Purdy is my new quiet storm. You know when he shows up, some shit gonna start. For real. And it's gonna be handled right. He don't get flustered by anything. Even when he throws an interception. You ever see him throw his helmet? You ever see him point his fingers? You ever see him get discouraged and not want to go back out there? This man went to the NFC Championship, couldn't throw his arm above his shoulder, and went out there on his shield. That will resonate with me for the rest of the time I'm watching this man play football.
Facts.
You can't pay enough for that.
All
But
right.
you're gonna have to pay this kid because he's got everybody paying attention. The problem I have now going forward is this: as far as MVP, he ain't a secret no more.
True.
He ain't, and that was my concern at the beginning of the season. When we started talking, we was talking about one game at a time, one win at a time. And T. Roy, you said it correctly. At some point, we was gonna run into a funk, and it happened 3 games in a row. But let me remind all of you and everybody watching that during that 3 game food, we was in a position to win all three.
Yeah, we were.
And it's because our clutch king, Quiet Storm, put us in position. I'm gonna come up with the perfect nickname for him. Never nervous Purdy. Nah, that's been used before.
Look, I just want what I was thinking about or what they were talking about. I said, yeah, y'all keep saying he ain't this, he ain't that, so he can Y'all can talk that narrative all the way to us winning this championship, dog. So y'all keep on saying what he can't do. He ain't this, he ain't that. It's the system. It's the players around him. It ain't him. That's just a fire. But like I told Prez when we first started the show, I said the play that really let me know that it was going to be different when he scrambled, shook the cornerback off, and took the hit, went out of bounds and got right back up and said, oh, it's different today. Or this ain't what January, baby. Purdy here, we here. It's all. It's boy ready. He ready.
And you know they was coming for him.
Oh, yeah, of
They was
course.
coming for Purdy. They
Of
wanted to
course.
hit him because
Yeah.
they knew they had to get to him to beat us. We're much better. We was a better team than them last year. And we're certainly better than they are this year.
There you go. There you go.
And you know what? They lied to themselves because they needed to. We didn't have to say much, but we brought that club in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We brought that club music in there. We was different we danced to a different beat that game, and all season long.
Like,
You know, they talking about this Seattle game coming up that they have our number. Yeah, they better call 911 this time though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number they need.
Well,
Yeah.
I love the fact that, for so long when they had Russell Wilson, we could never beat him.
Mhm.
Even when we had Jimmy, we couldn't beat him. He would throw an interception or something would happen. You know what I'm saying? But not this time. Oh, we got their number. Like you said, Uncle, they might want to call 911. I think they're going to need it come Sunday. I think we're going to put it on them again. I think, that's just my thought on that part.
When you have this much talent and you
Mm-hmm.
know who's important and you know that there's three essential keys to this team. We got the twin towers on the defensive line,
Mm-hmm.
Bosa and Chase.
Yeah.
You got Debo setting the pulse of the offense. You got McCaffrey is the backbone,
Mm-hmm.
and you got Purdy is the eyes and ears.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else goes through those three offensively.
Yeah.
And we ain't talked about Kittle enough. That
Yeah.
man got more blocks than Tonka. He still, I mean, he sat some folks down. And matter of fact, he was on one of the sports shows getting a pancake award. He
Right.
put some hurt. And so did Juice.
Mm-hmm.
We got people doing their job the right way.
oh, I mean, hey, let me ask y'all, cause
hmm
I'm a little younger than y'all, and I didn't get to see it. But is this like we are absolutely obliterating the best teams in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Best teams, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so is this like, say this were to continue for the rest of the season, we went out and we do something similar to what we've been doing to the Ravens on Christmas night and all that. Does this team become one of, like, at what point, because roster wise it's superior to any other team and it's not even close, like, so how good can this team be literally all time? Like,
85 Bears good.
the type of domination that we're having is not normal. You don't see
80,
it.
85 Bears good.
Now, I was
Take
about
it
to say,
back.
if you are you comparing it to our past championship teams,
I
or,
mean, I'm just
just
saying,
overall, like all time?
I'm just saying, period, because as a Niner fan, I've never seen it like this. I've
Okay.
never seen it where I mean, when you put the Jaguars, when you put the Cowboys, when you put the Eagles, I mean,
Eagles.
these scores are ridiculously lopsided.
Now, I was gonna say this when you answered the question. I was thinking, and that's why I said, are we comparing it to
We
80?
can't be, yes.
I was gonna say this offensively. 89 and 94, they're right there, and maybe even better just in terms of the modern NFL. In terms of the scheme, I think they're superior in the scheme. Now, as far as just the weapons, if you go back to 89, You had Montana, you had Rice, you had John Taylor at receiver, you had Brent Jones at tight end, you had Rathman and Craig at running back. 94, you had Ricky Waters, you had bar none, you had Rice still in his prime, you had John Taylor maybe on the downside, you still had Brent Jones.
Thanks.
And they had a good offensive line. I think defensively, this team is better than the 89 and the 94 teams. Offensively, they're, in terms of the scheme, in terms of how Shanahan deploys the scheme, they're better in the scheme. But as far as how they scored the points and how they just had the diversity of weapons, they're the same. And McCaffrey is probably better than Craig, or they're the same player in terms of being able to run and catch, but Craig maybe more physical, but McCaffrey more dynamic in terms of, just movement. And then at fullback, Rathman and Juice are similar, and Barnum probably is more athletic and physical. But offensively, we got a juggernaut on our hands. And I think and the key was those teams had good offensive lines. Now, Trent Williams is the best offensive lineman out of all of those offensive lines as an individual player. But this offensive line, like we were talking about earlier before Uncle came on, if they play like they played against Philly going forward, and you give Brock time with the weapons, we could put 40 up easy every week because of the diversity of the weapons and how Kyle going to use them. And then defensively, we got way more pass rush and more athletic. And, I would only say maybe two players could be in a conversation, Ronnie Lott and Charles Haley.
Yeah.
And Charles Haley was on 89 and 94.
What about Merton Hanks?
Huh?
What about Merton Hanks?
Yeah, and maybe Tim McDonald and Dion for the 94 team. So, secondary-wise, I would have to throw Dion in there, of course. But no, this team, in order to really be mentioned with those teams and then some of the greats, they're going to have to win this chip.
No, 1,000%. 1,000%.
But offensively, and then see, like I told my brother, and like I told y'all, everybody knows us for running the ball, but Shanahan want to kill you passing the ball. He got the quarterback to kill you with the pass now, to go with the run. So what do you stop? Because you could take away McCaffrey, but now you got a quarterback who can get the ball to everybody else. And then when you start trying to get it to everybody else, he can come back with McCaffrey. So he's got these interchangeable pieces that he can use to keep attacking you. That's why I know y'all was looking at the thread. I said, keep attacking, yes. Don't get them off the mat, because they can't get off the mat because they ain't got nobody to get off the mat with. Now, they didn't went to sign Darius Leonard from the Colts to play the linebacker, but you ain't gonna be no factor if we play you again.
Yeah, you ain't seen it. He ain't seen it before. He don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So, but no.
Let me say this to you. When you said attack, this is one thing we've been asking for 2 years. We let teams back in the games. That ain't happening no more. We don't need to beat anybody. We need to beat them down. Mm-hmm. We've been sending messages all season, even in losses. We've been sending messages. The reason I said the 85 Bears. Let me break this down real quick. Individual talent, team talent. I only compared them to the 85 Bears because of how they dominated on both sides of the ball every single game. Mm-hmm. You knew you were fighting uphill when you strapped up and stepped up. Mm-hmm. And that's the reputation our team is getting. Individually, you could pick out teams from 84, from 89, from 92 that could play on any part of our team. But as far as a whole team and that was one of the most dominating performances last week that I've seen in many years. Mm-hmm. Just from the point where we started. It was like, we knew we had this. Let them get their stuff off, now watch what we do.
Yeah.
And we didn't apologize. We blew them out.
Yeah, no facts.
Matter of fact, they was quiet in their own stadium.
Yeah, they were.
They was quiet after the game. They was quiet in the fourth quarter. They was quiet walking back to the locker room, knowing they didn't have to get on the bus, just go home. I mean, you could have. But my dad used to say you could have had a rat pee on cotton when way they walked out of that stadium.
Ah,
There you go. Yeah.
You know. Let me just say this: I take a special joy in seeing our system quarterback blow away every statistical norm there is in the league, and still have to carry the yoke of being a system quarterback.
Uh-huh.
And I say to that, give me more system.
Mhm.
Give me some more of that. Matter of fact, sprinkle it all over the team. Let everybody be a part of the system. Let them all be system players. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? If that's what it takes. If you need to label me, great. But this kid, and I'm gonna say it again, he's something different.
Mhm.
I saw that this young man, without fear and without stupidity, put balls in tight windows with authority. He was throwing some of them strikes like Doug Williams used to hit his receivers and Warren Moon. They used to come off the field, take off the jersey, and they have crosses on their chest. Think about how hard you got to throw the ball. And he ain't got arm strength. My butt. Did you see Purdy put air under the ball in this last game?
Oh, he was on point with everything.
Put air under the ball. Now, there's such things. You got guys like Buffalo quarterback and all these other cats can throw under air under the ball, but they're throwing with reckless abandon. This kid is a sharpshooter. He's a sniper.
yeah.
That's what he is. He's a sniper. That's
Hey,
it. I got to come up. There, they.
how much? I feel like his moxie is similar to Brett Favre's.
Yes. But I think he's a more intelligent quarterback than Favre. Favre has guts and gusto, just like Jim McMahon was. But this kid right here has got Jim Young's ability to process the game. Steve Young, I mean.
Mhm.
He's also got Montana's likableness.
Yeah.
His teammates like him.
Mhm.
You know what you'll do with somebody you like? You'll take that extra hit, an extra step. You'll
Oh,
go up a little higher.
facts. They do it for each other.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy G was light, but he wasn't trusted.
Yeah. That's the key. I said it earlier. That's the key. Shanahan totally trust Purdy.
And so does his teammates. So does his teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, you got an offensive playing line playing above their abilities. They didn't get that much better in 1 year, but they're playing with more heart and authority. They're protecting that soldier. They're keeping him upright and clean.
Yeah.
And that says something. Burford having the year of his career. Been beat a few times, but he ain't been beat down and given up.
Mhm.
Mm-mm-mm.
I would agree with that. All right, so keys to victory for this game, and then what's our outlook going forward as we finish off? What is it? 5 more games to play before the playoffs.
It's going to get tougher,
Hmm.
and we have to take it one game at a time. We have to
Uh-huh.
take it one quarter at a time. We don't have to win the game. We just have to beat the hell out of them in the right quarter
Right.
and outscore them. It doesn't matter how we get there. We got to get there.
So,
And when it comes time for championship time and division, and playoff time, we outside.
We out fucking side.
We outside, baby.
Yeah.
I would like to see us challenged a little bit along the way,
uh-huh.
like Philly did in the first quarter and piss us off.
Yeah.
What we don't want to do is play a team that wants to play keep away, sit on the ball, drag us through the grass, be muddy, because then we have
Uh-huh.
to go to quick strike. It's not that we can't, because we got a
Right.
sniper.
Right.
But I don't see, barring a major injury, anybody really challenging us to the point where we break. And even if we lose another game, it'll be a game where we learn a great deal about who we are as a team, and then roll to the league.
Mhm.
So my prediction in the next 5 games is one game at a time. We win.
Mhm.
And I know it's not a prediction, but I'm just saying I don't want to project 5 in a row or 5-0 or whatever. I want to say we're gonna win the next one.
Right.
That's how I'm focused. That's how I've been focused all season,
Thanks.
and that's what it takes. Look at how Dallas getting ahead of itself. Eagles got well. They all both ran into us. We think maybe they wasn't ahead of themselves. They just was behind us.
Right.
If you don't beat nobody else for the rest of the season, beat the smoke out of them too.
Mhm. Yeah, well, we done proven that we the better team against both of them on the field. So we may see one or both of them again, and I like our chances. So no, I would agree with y'all. Let's they taking it one game at a time. We take it one game at a time as fans, and of
Hmm.
course we can Seattle. So let's go ahead and get this dub against them, and that's what 6 in a row. Like I said,
Hmm.
it is 10, 11, 12 in a row with Russell out there. He always pulls something out of his hat in the last to, get a victory against us when we, in some cases, maybe outplayed them. So we do for to have this little streak against them. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have it against us for so long. So yeah, let's get this
We
dub and
overdue.
what happens with the Sunday night game with Dallas and Philly. And if Dallas wins that one, then it'll be a three-way tie at 10-3. But we obviously have the number one seed because we didn't beat both of them head to head.
That's correct.
Yeah, all we would have to do is just win out. I have a tie record with either of or both of them. Still had that number one seed, and if we get the bye and get rest, I had to say, and come playoff time, watch out a fully rested team.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, yeah, like Ben would say, we cooking with something now. So
them greens are slow cooking.
yeah,
Can I ask a question?
uh-huh.
Mitchell as the number two. Yes, y'all still okay with that?
So, and I think this is where we've been talking all year. They got to give Mason more run, but y'all playing him on special teams. But Mitchell is hurt. Then y'all cut the boy from LSU. Then you brought him back on the practice squad. You know what I'm saying? Because Mitchell dinged up again. So to me, and then y'all wasn't running him that much to begin with. So to me, y'all got Mason get more run. Y'all have to let Mason get more run. That's just my opinion. I think it's all our opinion. We know Mason have the talent, like you said, but they don't want running. But they gotta let him get more run. That's just my opinion. I agree with you there. They gotta get him more run because you can't count on Elijah Mitchell just because he's been hurt so much. So
My best hope is to see Shanahan scheme 4 plays with both Mitchell, not both Mason and McCaffrey on the field,
mhm,
one blocking for the other.
right.
I bet you that if Mason hits that hole, McCaffrey will run and turn back and wonder what happened and just be still running. I
Mhm,
believe if McCaffrey goes through that hole first and distracts that team so much, Mason, you won't be able to catch him for 40 yards. And when you do, he'll take 6 of you with him.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a 1-2 punch that is made in football heaven. I'm telling you.
Mhm,
The kid is a beast. Mason, they say, is as strong as the kid that runs for Tennessee,
Derrick
came out of
Henry.
Alabama.
Yeah,
Henry,
Henry.
yeah.
Yeah, Henry. Yeah, Henry.
You know how strong that is? But you know what? With an abundance of riches, I'm happy with where we're at. But I want to see Mason. I really do.
Right. I think before it's over, they're gonna have to run him, especially if Mitchell stay dinged up and can't be relied upon to be out there. So no, I would agree with you. I think at some point you're gonna see Mason get some carries because you got to see McCaffrey for the bigger picture, which is the playoffs and the
Yes.
bye. What getting that bye is gonna help the whole team, but it really him because we know come playoff time he gonna get that rock a lot of the time.
Right.
So yeah, so I think, got to give Mason someone. So, all right, fellas. Well, any final thoughts before we sign off for the night? In terms of where the team is at, where the team is going, what the ultimate goal is for what we want to see with this team at the end of this thing.
Man,
Short of having a perfect season, let me just say this. I'm happy with where we are. We learned some lessons. We showed some weapons, and we got the league worried about us. That gives us a psychological advantage in any playoff series. You got to bring your best.
Facts. Yeah, now just get the dub, man. Big weekend, next game. When it matters, stay healthy and get the dub. That's what we're here for.
Well, yeah, I echo y'all thoughts on that. Let's keep everybody healthy as we can. I think they locked in. They know what the 3-game losing streak was, and they know what's at stake. They know what they're trying to accomplish. One game at a time goals. Ultimately, get to the playoffs. Ultimately, get this grand prize at the end of this thing. So, yeah, I think these boys gonna continue to roll. God willing, it's 5 in a row, no injuries, and keep this thing moving. So, on behalf of Uncle Pete, Prez, Benjamin S. Good, this is P Warrior _Niner for Faithful Boys Podcast. We're gonna bang bang till we can't no more, till infinity. And for all of the fans, for your love and support, we're gonna keep rocking and banging on.
Appreciate y'all watching.
Yes,
Appreciate y'all watching. Bang,
all right.
bang.
Already.
Bang, bang.
All right, brothers. Thank you so much for hanging in there.